We'll go to Marcus, who's in Columbus, Ohio, independent.
Hi, is it me?
We're listening, Marcus. You're on the air with the congressman.
Hi, Rep. McClintock. Well, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. I served in the infantry. I just want to say I don't think this is what I served for or most veterans served for, because there's a lot of talk about Social Security, which I think should be there. We could easily raise the cap. And I'm no fan of Joe Biden. I just want things that make sense, right? Just common sense. And so instead of demonizing China, we've got, $850 billion every year to the Pentagon budget, and they've failed to pass an audit 5 different times. So I want you to try and explain to me how it is that you can continue to give the military almost $1 trillion every year. Some of that's dark money we don't get to see, and they don't pass an audit. Why should we continue to spend that much? Well, the war in Afghanistan's done. Trump signed the deal with the Taliban to make sure that we would exit out, and then Joe Biden, finished that up. The Iraq war is done. Why do we continue to spend almost $1 trillion on the Pentagon budget?
Well, that's a very good question. I've always agreed with Ronald Reagan's assessment of defense spending. He said defense is not a budget question. You spend what you need to spend in order to defend your country. And the fact is we do have rising threats, particularly from China, that we have to be aware of and make preparations for. To be prepared for war is the most effective way of preserving the peace, as George Washington told us. That said, there is an enormous amount of waste in the Pentagon. I agree with you, and we should be going after that waste just as aggressively as we go after waste in every other part of the budget. In fact, I think the waste in the Pentagon is the worst because it detracts from the dollars that should be spent in the defense of our country.
Martin, Lancaster, California, Republican. Go ahead, Martin.
Representative Tom McClintock, big fan. But I got a question for you. Have you yet realized that nothing they do is from incompetence or lack of knowledge? They've heard your logic for years. They are communist, and they intend to destroy the country. They are trying to destroy the country. I just want to know how many country, what do they call it, country club Republicans actually are privy to this thing that's staring them right in the face. We can't live with these people. The only way we can survive is...
Martin, are you talking about Democrats?
I am.
Okay. Congressman, go ahead. Respond.
It's true that things have become very bitter and very partisan in recent years, but I do try to remind people there was a day in that Capitol building in 1856 when Congressman Preston Brooks crossed the rotunda, took his walking stick, entered the U.S. Senate chamber, and smashed it to pieces over the head of Charles Sumner of Maine. Brooks' constituents responded to this act of violence by their representative by sending him walking sticks to replace the one he'd broken over Sumner's head. 2 years after that, Abraham Lincoln reminded us that a house divided against itself cannot stand. And if you recall what he then said, he says, "I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It must become all one thing or all the other." He understood that there are times in the history of a nation where two antithetical ideologies are vying for the future. They simply can't be compromised. They're polar opposites. Our entire system is based on being able to compromise, but there are certain principles that can't be. And Lincoln understood freedom and slavery were two such principles. I happen to think that wheel's come full circle, and now the two antithetical principles that simply can't be compromised are freedom and socialism. If you stop and think about it, slavery and socialism stem from exactly the same rotten principle as Lincoln said, that you work and toil and make bread, and I will eat it. And I think that's why things have become so bitterly partisan. The good news is we have a system that allows us to talk out these differences, to resolve them, and to move forward. I do agree. We're either going to become another failed socialist state, or we're going to see a rebirth of freedom. I rather think the American people are going to choose the latter.
Freeland, Maryland. Steve, Democratic caller.
Yes, Mr. McClintock. What is our federal government so incompetent? And the incompetency seems to run across every level of our federal government. The legislative branch is going to bankrupt the greatest nation in the world. You sit on the budget committee. I giggle because I never see a budget. We haven't done a budget. They talk about it for the past 25 years up there. I just will never understand the incompetence of our federal government. The good news is China will certainly be here soon, and I think we'll all be their next set of Uyghurs. You have a nice day, sir.
Well, boy, I don't know quite how to address that issue. You know, our system wasn't designed to make the best decisions. It was designed to make the best decisions that are acceptable to a majority of the people. So no system is perfect, but as Churchill once observed, many forms of government have been tried and will be tried in this world of sin and woe, and democracy is by far the worst, except for all the others that we've tried from time to time. The system that was given us by the American founders is a brilliant system to preserve our freedom and to preserve the rights of every citizen to be heard, to be protected by due process of law, and to prosper in a free market. That's a lot of good stuff, and it's worth protecting. And as far as the incompetence of the Congress, well, remember what Mark Twain once said. He said, "Suppose, dear reader, you were a congressman, and suppose you were an idiot, but I repeat myself." We do the best we can with what we've got, and somehow the country's has moved forward through all those years.